Well, happy Friday, everyone. I am so excited to be here. Welcome to another episode of Success Link with America's Supermom. I am excited about my next guest. We actually were chatting a little bit before we hit record, and it's like, now, how did we get together? How did we get connected? And I love that. It's just the power of networking. We cross paths and we go that extra mile to follow up, to get on each other's calendars, to schedule a podcast and things like that, because it's all about collaboration. So I'm so excited about that. So I have Greg here today, and we're going to be talking about building reviews. How is that even important in your business? And how does that translate to money? As we're getting closer to the holidays, I have to give a shameless plug for a Christmas in July meet and greet that I'm having this Monday. It is going to be a virtual event on Zoom, and it's talking about all things related to Christmas. Now, some of you may be thinking, I don't even celebrate Christmas, so how is that even going to apply to me? But Christmas is a very big commercialized time of the year here in the United States. People get gifts for people that they don't even like sometimes, right? So it is important for you to leverage and really budget. We've got a lot of things going on with the economy, people complaining about gas, and the list goes on and on. I don't even want to get that negative vibe going on here because this is Friday and we're having fun. But, we can't ignore the elephants in the room. That's another thing. I have an Elephant Strategy Club on Clubhouse, and I invite you guys to take a dander over there and listen to some of the great rooms that we have. So I am going to give you now this commercial break, and then we're going to get right into this conversation with Greg. All right, so stay tuned. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have your pens and notebooks out because, we're all about engagement. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments because we would love to give you value. That's what this is all about. It's not about just showing up and just telling you a bunch of information that if you've been like me in the past, you collect all these notes and never implement them. So as you ask questions, you get more invested in the answers and you start taking action. So I'm excited to introduce to everybody Greg, who is here with me. I'm not even going to try this last name, y'all. I'm going to let him say it. So without further ado, welcome, Greg. How are you?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. I'm excited for you to be here.
Yes, this is so great. Networking just leads to so many beautiful things like this.
Absolutely. So before we get into what I know everybody is tuned in about, it's like these reviews, how do I get them done? And, it sounds like you've got a system going on, but I know for a lot of us, we're like, how do I even get started with this? But before we get into those questions, introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Well, thank you again. Thank you all for joining live on the replays, on the reviews. We're happy to be here. My name is Greg Goshorn. I am founder of G2 Internet Solutions. So Greg Goshorn, G2. And so we've been doing this a long time, like techie for a long time, boutique internet solutions company since like the early 2000s. So we've always used timeless strategies. There's things that really work in the marketplace and just dealing with people and running a business. And the neat thing is ever changing strategies, right?
Mhm.
And so that's what we do. But I was blessed to have this vision, thought that reviews were going to be really big online like 6 years ago. So we've spent a long time and have a really deep expertise in reviews and what we call reputation and even reputation marketing. Because then the point of all this is that this reputation, reviews, social proof, etc., is a asset to your business.
I love that. So you have opened up a number of questions for me. The first one is starting this out 6 years ago when it wasn't popular. So a lot of people are kind of in that space where, they're focusing on this one thing and they're niching down, and people are like, this is not even going to make a difference. You need to follow this trend that everybody else is doing. But for you to have that ability to be disciplined and tunnel vision. Talk to us about what that experience was like when it wasn't so popular.
Well, yeah, it really was. And so we kind of come to it um, from almost an SEO perspective. And it turns out that getting reviews is a gigantic SEO lift, right?
Oh.
Because in just doing the right things, these classic timeless strategies like these finding people, treating them right, and then finding new people, right? So a business's job is to find and keep customers. And so
Mhm.
this reviews helps you find customers or helps customers find you, or maybe I should say helps customers choose you, right?
Mm.
Because they're looking for somebody they can trust. This has to be kind of
Mhm.
one of the boxes, like, do I need it? Can I trust them?
Sorry about
And
that.
so that is a big thing to it.
You never know what's going to go on in this house in the background, okay? That was our dog. He just got startled. But I love that because, for people to choose you. I was one that, I would just talk to my friends if something was going on and I needed to get some services from someone. I would go reach out to my friends and, hey, do you know somebody that knows somebody or whatever? Hey, that's my daughter. Um, but anyway, now people are so conscious of what's the reviews, how do we even get in that space?
Yeah, the numbers are crazy. Like years ago, we'd say, 84% of the people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. And
Mhm.
then the truth is that even when somebody tells you, your mom, your family, your neighbor, the first thing you do is go check them out online, right? And so that's
Mhm.
why it's super important. So we got into that space and helping people, build them. So there's really kind of three pillars. I don't know if we want to dive into that now or later.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Cause
Yeah.
I get to asking a million questions, and I don't wanna mess up your flow because you bringing up some good stuff.
So the big point is it's super huge. And so um, to touch on that, we talk about reviews helping you get found because they have an SEO thing, right? Because
Mhm.
Google loves them. Google's always going to love reviews and how you treat people. It's part of the algorithm. So all these things that come up
Okay.
and they change and things fluctuate. Guess what doesn't change? Google cares about you getting reviews, you responding to reviews, and getting trusted, and then getting chosen because they're looking at those, right?
Mhm.
And so that's just to talk about the getting chosen part. So the three pillars really are managing and building and marketing. And
Mhm.
so a lot of people talk about reputation, management, reputation, monitoring, which is all
Right.
it was back in the day, right? But
Mhm.
that's only one part of it. So you got to know what's going on, you know,
Mhm.
um, and build. So you got to be getting more because now the numbers are up there. Like it was 90%, it was 94%. The last year, stats were like 98% people look at reviews.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that is really what you got to do to start getting them. And so the hardest challenge for some is the asking part. So make it easy. If I can get
Yeah.
some tips, right? So
Yeah, this is good because I think we have Oleg who's here with us. Hey, Oleg. He says developing one's reputation is probably the biggest asset for building a business. And I think we forget about that, right? We think about the sale, especially if you're just starting out, you're so excited about all these clients, right? And so you forget about how you're going to serve the clients or even communicate with them after the sale takes place. So, I would love for us to dive into something that seems like a no-brainer and very common to just get the review or whatever. How do we go about having that a part of our customer journey, so to speak?
excellent. I love your questioning. This is so great. I love the audience chiming in. We couldn't agree more. Like
Mhm,
there's lots of pieces to this whole online thing and a business, but securing this one down is probably super important and kind of foundational. We think like, why get a bunch of attention? You know, with
mhm,
effort, time, money, ads, social, unless they look you up and you're super great. So shore that up, and
mhm,
let's make no mistake, Google is, to take your word, the elephant, right? They're
mhm,
the big platform. So step one, make sure you go claim your Google business profile, formerly known as Google My Business.
mhm,
Same thing. The thing didn't change, the name changed. And so
mhm.
basically, it's your free place on the front page of the internet. And again, ties into the whole SEO thing too, because you're actually using Google. So you can go to business.google.com and claim it if you don't.
Mhm.
So let's say you did. Okay. Follow the bouncy ball, claim it, fill out the fields, do whatever. And then inside that back end, um, you can create a link and it'll even show you on your dashboard, like, you know, how to ask for reviews, right?
Mhm.
So it's really cool. It's like a little short link that not only sends them to the profile, but has the like leave a review box up. So it's similar, like if you've ever seen it, we make these for people too. We do video. Like instead of just sending them to the YouTube channel, we send them to the channel, but we also pop like be a subscriber. Like just make it super dang easy for people, right?
Mhm.
Like the click is the enemy. Just like the easiest thing possible, and put it out on our onus, right? Send them the link that puts it right there.
I love that. And so, when we think about this, when is a good time to ask for this review? Because is it, some point during the process to kind of even bring it up to them? Or what do you recommend? Wait until after the final deal is done? How does that work?
Well, it depends. A great answer, right, Greg? Um, the most common answer is like when they're the happiest, and that's often like after the deal is done, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, my carpets are clean, or I got my new car, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it depends, in our um, way that we do stuff. We have like do it yourself, done with you, done for you, and that's always one of the questions: is what is the timing?
Mm-hmm.
So like the service providers, like right after Jeremy went and cleaned your siding or your windows, but right there, the tax guy, he's like, well, we wait until they get their refund, and the guy who sells a new car, waits a week, and after so I think in the best practice in general, broad answer is like after the transaction when they're super happy.
I love that. Now, and so are there different platforms when we're talking about reviews that are more, I don't know, maybe valuable than others? So, like, for example, if someone does a review on Facebook, does it carry more weight if it's on LinkedIn or Instagram or something? I don't even know if Instagram has reviews, but
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
Instagram has that. But that's a good question. So obviously Google, and then the other top places are your Facebook
Hmm.
for sure. Um, LinkedIn. Now that could come in a couple forms. They have the thing that everyone knows about is a recommendation. It would be called on
Hmm.
LinkedIn, right?
Hmm.
However, I'm a kind of a LinkedIn junkie. I'm on it every day. And if you set up your company and you have services, you can actually get a review on LinkedIn now. So not to dig too far into that, but the big ones, right? Yeah, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, Yelps, right?
Mhm.
TripAdvisor. We start getting into does somebody have a niche, right? So if you're a contractor, you might use house.com. It's in that space.
Mm. Mhm.
But
I love that. This is some good stuff because I think sometimes as business owners, we get lost in that big blue ocean, right? Instead of taking the time to niche down even into some of these different things. Like, if you're a restaurant, why are you trying to, in a local area, why are you competing with some of these other big fish when you can start thinking about, what are some reviews in your local area or different things like that. So I'm loving the conversation. But
and excellent. And so to be fair,
mhm.
this is all in the guide that we're giving away today.
Oh, good. Okay. So tell us about that. How do they get this guide? What is it that it is? I'm on the wrong screen, trying to do my own little production over here, y'all. I was trying to
Yeah,
put
we all need a PA, right?
I'm like, yeah, we need one for the show, okay? Because it's like, I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. People are like, well, I don't know about getting on video. You muster up the courage to do it. And then you've got 1,000 things to do in the background, your lighting and comments and, all that.
It is, and you sound like me, like everything. We want it to be perfect, but it's progress over perfection. It's getting
Right.
the message out there. It's being person. It's like leaving the mistakes.
Hmm.
Like it's being authentic, right?
So true. Now, so when we're thinking about, I'm still back on this 6-year journey because, many people want this immediate reaction to whatever it is they're doing. You want to make 6 figures, so you're going to hire the best coach that's going to get you there in 2 weeks, right? Everybody has this microwave mentality about how quick they want to get the results. So, what were some things that you did to kind of keep you in this discipline of being consistent, regardless of how long it took for, this SEO and all this things that you put your focus on 6 years ago that other people didn't see? How did you maintain that on a day to
Well,
day basis?
this I love your question, and that really matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, associations, surrounding yourself
Mm-hmm.
with good people,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm like a mastermind, or a coach, right? Which I have,
Mm-hmm.
and so that kind of
Love that.
well,
I'm over
like,
here taking
it
notes.
keeps you focused. Like everybody, myself included, like squirrel,
Right.
shiny object.
I don't
And here,
wanna look, people are like, "How do you have it all together?" Taking notes so I can remember what question to ask and not interrupt you, so that's what the
right?
key is. But I love that masterminding is so key. I'm actually gonna be having a, podcast, episode that's gonna air on Monday, that's kinda around masterminds, and something that, I've learned to do a lot overcoming depression because there were so many things that I had to unlearn. It was like 46 years of habits and routines and thinking that you just can't transform in a day unless you're actually working on it every day. So I try to upgrade that really quickly with masterminding, interviews, learning from different people on a regular basis. So talk to us about the value that you found with masterminding and how often do you do it?
Weekly with this one group, and
Mhm.
I have weekly calls also with like my key associates,
Mhm.
right? So I got standing, you know, 2 o'clock Tuesday with the group, and then 2:30 Wednesday with one guy, and 4:30 Thursday with another guy, and so um, They might be short or they may be really long, but it keeps your momentum, and accountability is sort of the other part of the mastermind. Like, it's easy to have, your big long list. I didn't check it off. Who cares? But when you got to show up and go, well, you said you were gonna, did you?
So true. Yeah, and, I find that it helps me to take quick action. Before I really was into masterminding and doing something new every day, I would overanalyze something. I'd say, okay, well, if I do this, well, then what about this and what about that? And I'm so into the planning that I don't even get started. So, outside of the accountability, what other things have you noticed that have been beneficial with masterminding for yourself?
Well, some of that stuff um, helps with that, like, analysis paralysis and stuff, right? So
Mhm.
your masterminds and your coaches, your accountability partners, and we tell each other, they'll tell me, and if necessary, I'll tell them, like, look, it's progress over perfection.
Mhm.
Fail fast, fail forward,
Mhm.
because you could guess or you can try, you
So
know. And so that is probably the big part, and the guidance, like, there's, like, you almost say between mastermind to, mentorship or coach.
mhm.
There's these things that kind of overlap, in the Venn diagram, right?
Yes, so true. I love that. So, what are some things that you do in your daily routine? Because I know SEO, algorithms, that is not my thing.
Right.
I just like to show up and say, "Can I just ask you the questions?" And just leave it at that, right? But, it all is important in your business. But I'm sure that you have challenges that come up with SEO and algorithms and things changing and different
No,
platforms.
that's what I'm saying. We don't.
Oh,
This
really?
is this is the
Okay.
beautiful part is that,
I might need to
excuse
learn a
me.
little more then.
So the algorithm is the rule. It's how the platform, operates, right? So specifically, we talk about SEO. We're talking about Google, right?
Mhm.
And so they have this algorithm. They won't ever tell you there's 200 elements. They change all the time. There was one that happened last month. There was one that happened last Friday. Now, never in all of our time or the foreseeable future is Google not going to care about reviews and how well your business is treating people, specifically in the quantity and quality and responses to the reviews. So I'll give you
Mm,
some tips. Get
okay,
10 reviews on your Google business profile.
okay.
Get one new one a month. And so this is no guessing, no guessy SEO, right?
I love that.
um, and then the other part of, like, if we do like our done for you service, right? The
Mhm,
bigger and deeper into it, the managing side is getting listed on these directories, right? Where you'll want to get reviews. And
mhm.
so, very important, because another part not going to change. Google is not going to not care about high authority websites. And guess what? LinkedIn is. And guess what? Yelp is. And guess what? TripAdvisor is.
Mm,
Even Bing and Yahoo are
wow.
high authority websites. So that's why we talk about this as being proven SEO and non guessing SEO. And it's just a byproduct of, doing the system and doing the work, and being a good steward of your online reputation.
I love that. Now, so for these, other, um, platforms like Yelp, TripAdvisor, and all that, is there a fee to actually be included on the site? How do you go about being listed to even start getting reviews? Is there a fee for that?
Yeah, virtually all of them are free, right?
Mhm,
And so, you can go out, or use our friend Google, like, how to get, a Yelp listing, right? How
mhm.
to get a Bing listing, a Yahoo listing, a TripAdvisor, and like that. It's a paid service we do for people who don't want to do it, but like I said, we are DIY, done with you and done for you, and that's what those free resources are all about, right?
Mhm.
Um, there's hardly any paid ones. I don't want to say anything bad about Yelp, but they will always try to get you to pay.
Mm.
Uh, it, it, they put your competitors' reviews right on your page, which I think they're the only one that does do that. But they're important.
I love that. This is really some good insight. So,
Yeah. And Yelp is strange. Yelp says don't ask for reviews.
oh,
Even
really?
though, yeah, it's in their terms of service. So I don't know what you do. You put up a sign. You don't physically ask. You don't. I don't know if you get in trouble.
Now, so how and they ask you to pay for them?
So
They ask you to pay to be on
Yelp
the
will
site.
always call you if you sign up, and then you'll get a guy that he will call you. I guess it's a successful model, right? So
Mhm.
your phone will be ringing. Hey, this is John from Yelp. John from Yelp. You know,
Wow.
we have clients that pay for Yelp. We have some that don't.
Okay. Well, this has been great. So talk to us. I could go on for hours, but I cannot believe the time goes by so quick.
Just like
What
that.
are what are some podcasts or books, that you enjoy? Because I know that's just one of my things, the books and podcasts.
I gotta say, the ones that I listen to, like podcasts or audiobooks, right?
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of listening, right? Or doing
Mhm.
chores or driving. And I like a lot of personal improvement books, like
Mhm.
not kind of non-technical, like Atomic Habits is
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
I've heard about that one. I've
Um,
heard him on a podcast. I haven't read the book yet.
yeah, like Bob Berg is like the Go Giver.
Yeah, I had him on an interview.
You had him on?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
I've
I
been
get
on
him.
Clubhouse with him and, some of his
He's
rooms.
awesome. Like
He is
he
such a
replies to
sweet.
my LinkedIn posts sometimes and my
He's
buddies.
awesome.
He's really great. And so I've always come with that mentality. And some of my other mentors are like, you know, lead with service, lead with value. We got two
So
things we're giving away today. Like give away your best stuff, prove your expertise, let them try it.
mhm.
A bunch of them won't do it. If they do it, great. If they go, oh, this is hard, they might come back and say, hey, can you help me?
Right.
And so I'm trying to think who else I'm listening to. Michael Gerber, the E Myth,
Yes.
is super
I've
great.
been in a room with him on Clubhouse, got to ask him
Yeah,
an interview. Yeah. So, I just can he is just awesome to me. I'm like, "How did you stay relevant for the number of years that it's been?" He's in his 80s. And he said, "Well, the truth is nothing ever changes."
his stuff is so foundational. I'm
Yes.
listening to it. I'm on my third time around, like restart, and all it is. And there are other people out in the world that do something like it. Like Traction is another good book, and this whole EOS, Entrepreneur
Mhm.
Operating System. But a bunch of this is just tracking, doing things right, doing procedures, getting
Mhm.
the thing in place. That's what some of the stuff that we do is we'll actually offload, business owners like, do you want to reply to all these reviews? Do you want to ask everybody for a review? Do you want to build a page that grabs them? Do you want to turn it into an image or a video and then show it off? They're like, no, I'd rather go sell a deck for 30 grand or,
Right.
fix the mouth for 2000 or, whatever. So
Mhm.
getting a thing that can just solve something for them. But in general, the point was like, that's why Michael Gerber is timeless because his things are timeless strategies. Like, get out of your way, document it, procedurize it.
Yeah, so true. I mean, it's all about really having a business and not owning a job, right?
That's what he says. He talks a lot about the franchise model, but we've
Yeah.
done it forever. Like I got an MIS degree with honors years ago. We help businesses, and one of the biggest things was always procedures. So you have
Mhm.
people and data, they're wild cards, hardware and software, but the procedures, like it would be like, well, Mary's not here. Well, let's get the notebook on Mary's book, open it up. There's going to be screenshots and directions, and somebody else will be able to do Mary's job.
So true.
That doesn't exist. That's part of
Yeah,
this whole process is like just making assist them.
I love that. Yeah, this is great. So, we've got the free gift access to scrolling at the bottom. So, share with everybody the best way to get a hold of you.
Excellent. So I love LinkedIn. So Greg Goshorn on LinkedIn. Um, if you go to that page and claim them, you're going to be in my funnel. Expect to be followed up with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so there's two things on there. If I go through those real quick before we end,
Yeah,
one of them
absolutely.
is this free guide, and it
Mm-hmm.
is everything you must know about managing your online reputation. Now that's great,
Mm-hmm.
like an ebook, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then if you really get serious, you find out what's going on. And so we have a instant report called your reputation report card, and it gives you letter grades. It shows you like where you're listed, how many reviews you have, are the negative ones, are the recent ones, and so you really can get like a snapshot of where you are.
Love
And
that.
we actually enhanced it lately, so now it talks about your reviews and it talks about your social, it talks about your website.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
so it's great stuff. We like, oh well, this is 197. Oh, this is worth 297. You should always say the value when you give something away, right? You know
Yeah,
this this is real stuff. We've sold these. We sell these.
so true.
Um, but as a gift,
Mm-hmm.
to your guests, we'd love to get them. So if they go in there, so Greg Goshorn on LinkedIn, and there we go.
I love that. Well, we really appreciate that because that is great value for everybody who is watching, and we appreciate your generosity. And I think one of the things that I really enjoy about these opportunities to have people on is for people to get educated on the value. Because a lot of times we're just like taking this and taking that and not understanding how all these fit together. So I love how you've been able to create that thread for us with SEO, because I know we can a lot of times, if you're not a copywriter or somebody who is really into SEO, you don't even understand how it makes a difference. So I appreciate you taking out the time to really educate
It
us on
is, and to be honest, for a long time, I'm like, we don't do SEO, and I'm like, I lead with that because people,
that. Hmm.
it's such a keyword,
Hmm.
and I'm like, how about just do the right thing, follow this path. It works for, you know, uh, getting found, getting chosen, doing a good job for your customers, and by the by, you get SEO lift.
Love that. Love that. That is amazing. So we thank you so much for coming on, Greg, and sharing those insights. I encourage you guys to reach out to Greg on LinkedIn or put some questions in the comments. We'll be sure to get them to him as well. So, what final thoughts do you want to share with everybody today?
Ooh, goodness sake, get going! Like, don't be afraid of this. Like, this is the lowest hanging fruit. The way that I frame this often is building permanent digital assets. So when you
Mhm.
take these efforts and you do this work, you invest, $1 a minute, you pay somebody anything, what payback do you get? So if you run an ad, as soon as it stops, as soon as you close your checkbook, it stops. When you invest in reputation, it goes on forever. These reviews stay there forever for all people to
Mhm.
look at. Oh, I got one awesome parting tip. Responding to reviews. Respond to everyone, especially the negative reviews.
Mhm.
Now, don't do it angry, might hurt, but here's the takeaway. Negative review is an opportunity. What
Mhm.
does that mean, Greg? It's an opportunity to show all the other people, the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000 people that are going to look at this response in the future and show them how you handle your business, to show them how you take care of stuff when things go wrong. Because the numbers are crazy. 90 some percent read reviews. You do, right? Everybody does.
Right.
You read the negative ones? Yes. Do you read the replies? Yes. That has as much weight as sometimes as some of the good ones.
I love that. And that is so true. And I'm all about facing the hard topics and conversations. So I love that you shared that because we are gonna have if somebody might have had a bad day. and they
It
said
happens.
something. Yeah. So, it's like just address it, give your side of the story. It's like everybody deserves to have a closing argument about something, right?
Right. And so that's just it. Like some people can see through it,
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, well, that guy, that customer seemed like he was a jerk. Or if the business replies improperly, well, then the business looks like a jerk.
Exactly.
Don't be that. Like, don't reply when you're angry. Handle your business right and show the world.
I love that. That is some great advice. Great advice. So, we just thank you so much, Greg. You have just shared so many nuggets with us today,
I'm
and
just getting started. Let's keep.
I love. Well, then that sounds like we're gonna have a part two. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
go.
Yes. So we will definitely have you come back on. So, thank you guys so much for watching with us today. And again, I encourage you to reach out to Greg, have that conversation. You can get so much from a conversation. And also remember to register for the Christmas in July event that is going to be held this Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. So register and get your seat.
Oh, I love that idea because here's what happens: people like it sneaks up on them like same
Yeah,
time every year. But
exactly.
you don't start in October. Like you start like to make your plan and have your assets in place and your specials and your inventory, whatever it takes.
I love that testimonial. You guys see? This is great. Win-win all the way around. I love it. I love it, Greg.
Thank
So,
you.
well, thank you guys so much for watching us, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now.